Another set of Alabama teammates reunite in the National Football League as Heisman Trophy winner Devonta Smith joins Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. Hurts and Smith played 2 years together in Tuscaloosa, remained friends even after Hurts transferred to Oklahoma. In 13 games last season, Smith had 25 total touchdowns. 23 of them were receiving TDs, which led FBS. Now, ready to catch passes from his old college teammate.
And Jalen, I mean, that's my guy. I mean, been with him in time in Alabama. Even when I was a recruit, he was the guy trying to get me to come to Alabama. So, I mean, that's my guy. I have a great relationship, and I'm ready to work.
Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts reunited in Philadelphia. Devonta Smith on the board here, but not the favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. That goes to Trevor Lawrence at plus 270, followed by Justin Fields and Trey Lance at plus 550. Of course, Trey Lance went third overall to the San Francisco 49ers. The Bears trading up to take Fields. And we'll see where these teammates who are reunited end up after their rookie season in terms of their success. Reunited, and it feels so good. Welcome in two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden and CBS Sports NFL insider Jonathan Jones, who join us from Cleveland. Of the four duos that reunited after round one of the draft, BMAC, which set of college teammates are in the best position to succeed in the NFL?
Well, I go right to Cincinnati for three reasons. I mean, when you look at the quarterbacks that were highlighted in this topic, when healthy, Joe Burrow is the best quarterback. And we all are assuming that he will be healthy this upcoming season. So that's a big-time plus for the connection between Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Outside of Joe Burrow and his health, when you look at the receivers they already have in place there in Cincinnati, right now Jamar Chase is the third best wide receiver option. They have a proven number one in Tyler Boyd. T. Higgins played exceptionally well, so that will allow Jamar Chase to have matchups in his favor. 9 times out of 10, he's probably playing against the third or fourth corner from opposing defenses they will face. That's a big-time matchup for him in his favor to be able to come through in the clutch. And lastly, for me, when you look at Cincinnati on the defensive side, I don't expect for them to be a stout unit. They were bad last year. They may make some strides this year, but in their division alone, they're going to allow a lot of points from teams like the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, even the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think the Cincinnati Bengals offense will be playing catch-up more than none. That will provide opportunities for Joe Burrow in throwing the football, opportunities for Jamar Chase in catching the football. And because of those opportunities, you better believe, like he said, he's trying to break every wide receiver record they have there in franchise history. I'm not saying he'll get an opportunity to do that in year one, but he will have an opportunity to come through in the clutch and be one of the best rookie wide receiver options this upcoming season.
Interesting take. And maybe I'll revisit that one in just a little bit. Mine is going to be down in Miami, Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Waddle. And mine is for this simple fact that Tua Tagovailoa, little inconsistent last season. Of course, it was his rookie year, and that's fine, well, good and okay, but he needed a security blanket. He never had that this past season. And now he gets it in a guy like Jalen Waddle, a guy that he is extremely familiar with, a guy who can obviously smoke whatever defender is going to be on him, a guy who, the medical's checked out. I very much believe in Jalen Waddle. That's why I have the Miami Dolphins pairing. This pairing in particular with Tua, who, again, his inconsistency showed up so often last year, and to get him that comfortability, that's what he was missing. I thought that was going to be a key in his development in taking that next step. Remember, he didn't have that offseason. Remember, Ryan Fitzpatrick was the starter for the first several weeks of the year, and then when they hit the bye week, Brian Flores switched it over and said, all right, now Tua, now you get these first-team reps. That's what he was dealing with all year long, up and down from starter back to backup, sometimes even during the game. Now he gets a full offseason, or at least what we assume will be a full offseason, certainly as they report to minicamp and then training camp in July and August. And it should be like riding a bicycle when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Waddle. That's why I have this one. Because of what Tua was lacking last season, what it adds to his game, that's the best duo for me.
Certainly both pairs have the home run threat, and you got to like the idea in Miami, right? Because Tua can just dump it off to Jalen Waddle and then turn it into a massive play. Again, his 17 career receiving touchdowns went for an average of 44.5 yards. I mean, this is like the second coming of Tyreek Hill. So I'm sure Tua can't wait to start playing with Jalen Waddle, the fastest receiver in college football. Okay, so now which duo is facing the biggest challenge? Jonathan, start with you.
I'm going to say it. You knew I was coming back to it. It's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And this has less to do with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, actually. And it has more to do with the fact that the Cincinnati Bengals should have used this pick on Penei Sewell, because it's all about protecting your investment. It is all about protecting the quarterback. I didn't know that Joe Burrow was going to tear a couple of things in his knee. I wasn't anticipating that, but I knew he was going to get banged around plenty last season. That's exactly what happened. And rather than taking who was clearly the best left tackle in the draft, the guy who you stick over there on Joe Burrow's blind side, and for 15 years, you don't have to worry about anything. They went out and got Jamar Chase, without question, the best wide receiver in this year's draft. I do not at all question his talent and abilities, and I think that he might very well have a 1,000-yard receiving season. It's not going to matter if Jonah Williams and Riley Reef can't hold up on the outsides. It's not going to matter at all. It's not going to matter if in a couple of picks later on today, when the Cincinnati Bengals have the 5th pick in the 2nd round, that they get, let's say, Sam Cosmi out of Texas. You had the opportunity to solidify the most important position along your offensive line last night, and instead you went with a position, an important position, no doubt. But B-Mac just pointed out, they have options over there. And in this draft, this is a deep wide receiver draft. You know what's going to happen next year? It's going to be another deep wide receiver draft. That's how this is trending in the NFL. I would not have used such a premium pick on that wide receiver when you have such a need. That's the only reason that I have this as my worst, because of what Cincinnati needed and what they got.
Well, for me, the biggest duo facing the toughest uphill climb is right in Philly. Number one, Jalen Hurts has to win the starting job, right? We're hearing head coach Nick Sirianni say it's a competition. So he has to beat out Joe Flacco. I believe he will do so, but that's the first hurdle for him to climb. Outside of that, when you look at the inexperience at the wide receiver position, you just drafted Devonta Smith, who I loved at Alabama. But who will he learn from? You have young player after young player. It's like the blind leading the blind. You ever see two blind guys try to walk across the street without a stick?
I haven't.
An accident will happen.
Okay.
That's what it's looking like in Philadelphia right now. They don't have a stick, but they're trying to walk across the street. So who do you expect Devonta to be able to learn the ropes from? He might be the number one guy right now. I mean, you have Ward, you have Jalen Reagor, who we didn't see a lot of in and out of the lineup because of an injury. So you have a young quarterback throwing to young wide receivers, and that's not a good recipe to have if you're expecting to have success in the National Football League. So because of those reasons, I think this duo in Philadelphia is going to be a tough task in year one.
We got a pretty good duo there in Cleveland. Bryant McFadden, Jonathan Jones breaking it down for us here on CBS Sports HQ. Men, thank you.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.